happening surrounding us. We're just making history every single day. We have many important artists to recognize today, some very important guest speakers here behind me. But before I turn it over to them, I want to say just a few quick words about today and how special it is. I'd like to encourage you to stick around today because it's not just speaking and cutting a ribbon, but we've got the firefighters back there grilling for us. Yeah. So stick around for some free food. Many of you guys have already figured out that there's tons of games everywhere, so please don't just run home, stick around and play a little bit with us. That's the whole point. If you'd like to be a part of an art making activity, the aquacolor building right there, we've got a nicho making session that is special for the Sugar Skull Festival coming up that's happening today, so feel free to get creative with us here in a little bit. I know that the Maker 13 space is open for you guys today, and they have created some special laser cut items that are free, so you can come in, create one of those with them, and see that space. And the museum, the Vintage Fire Museum, the History Museum are all...
It's open and free.
There you go, open and free. So, go in there and... And the Fire Museum is open now. Okay, and I think I saw a Kona ice truck around here somewhere too, so you can be a part of that. And there's also, to eat at, we've got the tables in the back. There are some free takeaways on those tables, some art buttons that are the top of the water tank, the new logo design, and the very special student art pieces that we'll talk about more here in just a second. All are created in little takeaway buttons thanks to Gail Parrish and her family. So before the end of the day is through, hopefully you'll take all of those with you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it now over to our mayor, Mike Moore.
It's good to see everybody. I got to tell you, there's a long story behind how we got here today, and a lot of different pieces to a puzzle had to come into place. In 2012, when we came into office, Rob Ways, where are you at, Rob? Rob Ways said, let's create an arts and cultural district. And it was a bit of a task. It was a bit of a struggle. There was some pushback, but what we had here was a lot of land that the city inherited from other ideas, and it needed a lot of work. This was not one of our most visibly pleasing areas of the city, and so we pushed forward with that. And Don Spiker and the Arts Coalition and Nathan Samuel have pushed and pushed, and Andy Crouch, who is our city engineer and full-time volunteer for just about everything. I don't know if Andy is here. Delynn Rutherford, who is the best grant writer in the state of Indiana, and there's so many different pieces that have come together. It's really hard to imagine we're here today doing this. I love the fact Dawn has reached out and made this a community-wide project. There have been so many people who have put time and energy and their imagination into this. I believe the children from Thomas Jefferson Elementary who helped design the Picasso pose are here as well and going to be a part of what we're doing here today. But what has been created is another reason for people to venture and walk through our city. We have put in a lot of efforts to make Jeffersonville a more bicycle and pedestrian friendly community. This project enhances that. All of the development you've seen take place around here makes this more worthwhile. We just had a huge announcement the other day, Tuesday night at the Planning Commission meeting. Hogan Development is developing the 10 acres directly behind us back here with restaurants, a hotel, office space, a national name coffee house. Folks, it just doesn't get any better. I mean, this is the next big thing in the city of Jeffersonville. And we've been a community looking to attract and create new ideas and new reasons for people to come to our city. This is a home run. You will see on the banners over here things that are going to be coming and starting in the springtime, should be completed next summer. But all of this project and all of the teamwork that's been involved in this, I've got sitting behind me Bill Reedy from Indiana American Water, who donated the water tower, or the silo over here that our artist has crafted and created into a beautiful piece of art. I've got Jim Epperson from the Clark Floyd Tourism Commission, which extremely generously donated a bunch of money to make all of this happen. There's so many people to thank. The Arts Coalition, please raise your hand if you're part of the Arts Coalition. There's so many different things in our city to be proud of, but this is one that has created so much excitement, and people who maybe never got involved in anything in the past with the city. It's good to see something new, something genuine, something that creates imagination. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Thank you all very, very much for being here today. Thank you.
And just say, many people have a question, well, what's NOCO? What's that even stand for, right? It's okay. So NOCO, N-O, it means north, C-O is court. So we are planning all of this activity and all this redevelopment to happen for the Arts and Cultural District north of Court. So there's where NOCO comes from. And up next, I've got Jim Epperson, who is the SOIN Tourism Director, and we're going to have him talk about connecting what we're doing to tourism into Southern Indiana.
NOCO, SOIN, it seems like we want to butcher the English language and make it shorter. SOIN Tourism, of course, this is for Southern Indiana, and yes, we represent Clark and Floyd counties. Most of what we do, you people don't see. 75% of what we do is marketing to people in other markets to bring their money into town. But a portion of our budget is set back for investment in projects like this. And so we're looking for partnerships with our municipalities. We work with not only Jeffersonville, but the others in our region to identify what we think are transformative projects that will be of value and of interest to residents and increase the quality of life. But with that comes something we call quality of place. And that is the genuineness, the authenticity of a destination that so many visitors are looking for today. And this is an example of something that's local, genuine, authentic, and a heck of a lot of fun. And so we were very pleased with this design, the ideas behind it, and the programming that's going to go along with it to really make this space come alive for residents and also for visitors. And it gives people more reasons to come back, to stay longer. And it's exactly the kind of thing that we should be investing our funds in. We're happy to do it and happy for this great partnership that made it come together. Thank you guys, it's a great day.
All right, so I work very closely with the Public Art Commission, and we couldn't do that without the leadership of Nathan Samuel, so he'll be speaking next on Arts and Movies.
Thank you. First, I see Senator Ron Green's here. I appreciate Ron and your support, both at the state level and then locally. Thanks for being here. Also, Council President Lisa Gill, appreciate all your support and you being here today as well. Our journey started a little over 6 years ago. Our Arts Commission started in 2013, and our main focus, but we were assessing where we were at that time, determining how we're going to get going and get started. It took many small baby steps all the way up through today, which is a very large step. Kind of reminds me of the one of our first pieces we did. It's called Jeff, but it's the Red Running Men on 10th Street. Started off kind of coming out of the ground, and then after 6, I believe, pieces later, and I'm saying each one's a year, that statue or that piece shows them leaping off the end. So I think this is kind of our leaping off point. This is a great opportunity here. So I thought that was very interesting how we've started small and we continue to get larger. Having the administration, Mayor Mike, his support, redevelopment support, Rob Ways and his whole team, Delenn Rutherford and others, and frankly all the departments of the city working together with us, that's made the difference. We've talked with many other cities that have come in and looked at what we're doing in Jeff and how we're doing it. And the number one thing is we're getting everybody working together, and that's made a huge difference. It's allowed us to move forward really quickly. Of course, Dawn Spiker, our arts administrator, employing her and letting her lead us and frankly us get out of her way, that's been phenomenal, and we're so appreciative of Dawn for that. Our Arts Commission is made up of 9 different members. I see Paul Northern here today. Appreciate you, Paul. I see John McCarthy here today. Appreciate you, John. I see Deb Henderson today. Deb, thank you. And I saw Denise Friedel. Did anybody else slip in that I didn't see? And if so, from the commission. These are volunteer folks. We appreciate their time. They put in a lot of effort. So far this year, we've done the Hoosier Hardware mural down on the flood walls, just to name a few. We've done Shakespeare in the Park in the Big 4 Park. We've done the sculptural drinking fountain in Big 4 Park. You'll hear about that. We've done multiple bike racks, sculptural bike racks. We were part of Steamboat Nights, where we had a number of artists and booths and displays going on, and that took place. Another one that I want to highlight right now that we have failed to be able to do that thus far is it's a piece that is on top of the flood wall storage building. If you're coming across the Big 4 Bridge and you look over to your right, we store our floodgates in this little square building. The top of that was ugly, and so we put art on top of that. And a local artist, Corey Ridings, did a graphic art piece entitled Warm Welcome. We have a banner right over here that shows that piece. He celebrated Jeff's past, present, and future by highlighting the river and river boats. And we try to dedicate our pieces, but each time, but we aren't able to dedicate every one. So we want to take this day to highlight Corey and thank him for being able to do that piece for us. And when you walk across the Big 4 Bridge, look over to the right when you're coming back, you'll see it firsthand. But I just want to call that to your attention. I don't believe Corey was able to be here today, but we do appreciate his work. We've come a long way in 6 short years. NoCo Arts and Cultural District is huge. The designation of an arts and cultural district was a really big step. Since that designation, we have pulled together some materials sent to the state to become accredited. And so we're fully excited and anticipate being accredited by the state. And that took a lot of people to make that happen. But once that happens, we will be one of 8 in the entire state that is accredited, which is a big deal to Jeffersonville from the opportunity it brings us with grants, then also through tourism because they promote that. Now today, NoCo and the Arts District, if you look around, we have a tank, it's beautiful. We have museums around, we have art making facilities, we have so much, but it took a lot of people to make that happen. It doesn't just happen overnight. You'll hear more about them, but we involve the kids and some teachers from Thomas Jefferson Elementary School. They did a phenomenal job. Later you'll see the principal, Jennifer Corfidge, and Kathy Grininger, the teacher. We really appreciate working with them. Mike Kelly from W.M. Kelly Fabrications here. He helped work with the kids and do a lot of the fabrications that we do. We really appreciate partnering with Mike. I mentioned earlier the city working together. We have some folks in the engineering department. Doug, Hayden, Kevin Fetter, they were tremendous help. Some of our electricians, we had to rewire all the poles and do a lot of work here. We have Ryan Witherspoon and David Bentley help with that. The tank prep, we have Ed Seward and Luke Burton that help do the prep for that tank. It's amazing how much effort and work that tank took. You'll hear from the wonderful artist shortly, so I won't highlight Wilfred at this point. The logo design for NOCO was done by Philip Collins. A lot of effort was put into that logo. The Davy and the Crouch families, I know I personally saw you out here on your hands and knees a lot, and that's all volunteer effort, and we appreciate you guys and the families that participated. And I know lastly on that, Dawn Spiker spent many 80-plus hour weeks down here working on that herself, and so I really appreciate it. And in closing, this is just one big step in the public art movement, and Jeff, we have much more on the horizon. It's going to be exciting to watch. Thank you.